we're here, of course, and that's for NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. This year, we took up the charge at Questing for Glory to raise money for this fantastic charity because this has been a tough year for people. This is a year where things are the memes are made and things are just not going well for a lot of people. And we just want you to know, Mutsky, this is for you. You are not alone. It is okay to not be okay. And that's why we're here. Plenty of support and awareness for Nami. But yeah, we are going to pass this over now to CasinoCoin, and he's going to show off his game, Sigma Star Saga. So take it away, Casino.
Thank you very much. So yes, this is Sigma Star Saga. It's a game published by Namco, developed by Way Forward, as the screens should be saying soon. It's a triple genre game that tries to put together a whole bunch of different mechanics, some light RPG mechanics, some space shooter mechanics, and some adventure game mechanics. And I think it's pretty charming, and I like the story. I'll see if I can explain it while I play for you guys. And I do see in the chat someone was saying that they wanted a sequel to this game, and they did talk about it at one point, but it didn't really materialize. So that was quite unfortunate. I do believe this game is quite good. So let's get started here. I'll see if I can count down here. So just gonna hit A on new game. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so we're starting off in a space shooter stage. You can see my experience in the top right corner. That doesn't increase in this stage, but it will go up across the game. We're going to end up pretty under-leveled at the end of the game, so, you know, that's fun. About 2/3 of the way through, we end up skipping most encounters, and I'll talk about that a little more when we get closer to that. But for now, we're in the intro stage here, and basically what's going on right now is some years ago, aliens came down, the Krill, came down to Earth, and they gouged out a huge chunk of the Earth. And, oh, am I seeing that the timer has not been started? Well, rip.
Don't worry about it. You can keep going. Just keep shooting.
Alright, so there's a good mechanic to explain. When you collide with an enemy ship or terrain, you just come back with a little bit of your health gone. But yeah, so aliens invaded, gouged out a huge section of Earth, then they left. Now, some years later, they came back, and now they're at war with Earth. And Earth is a little more prepared this time, but you know, they're still struggling a bit. So for this first section, most of the top of the screen is fairly safe. There's not really a lot to worry about in the intro mission. If I'm really bad, I might die in this mission, but that's probably not going to happen. The little boss at the end of this mission can do quite a bit of damage with its cannons, but usually that's not a problem. I'm pretty sure that shooting these ships here does help a little bit in speeding things up, but I've never found it made too much of a difference. But yeah, so most of our comrades have just died. Rip. Now, if you remember Independence Day, seeing a little bit of that right about here, but You can just position your ship where a laser didn't shoot, and you can just safely sit there and not move.
Well, this is obviously why they didn't win.
Well, there you go.
Hey, I got a quick donation here. A $15 donation from Vivanen. I guess this is kind of relevant because it does say Ferret Star Online and the ferret ends with you. I mean, it is kind of space and whatnot, right? Thank you for the donation.
I think so. Alright, so I just want to shoot the eyes here to disable the ship. These turrets auto-target, but it's not too much of a problem to dodge. They do deal, you know, not completely insignificant amount of damage, but pretty easy, and lock this down. Very little problem. So that's a shooter stage. Now you get introduced to the other kind of gameplay that this has. Is the adventure game stage. So now I'm kind of, you know, moving around on the ground, not in space. Here I'm back at the base on Earth. We've got to go meet our commander. So movement right now is pretty slow, but just like Pokemon, most Pokemon games, you get some running shoes later. So no worries about that.
Come on, look at the strut. Look at the just like, you know, the shoulders puffed out, the swagger. This is swagger. You don't need to run.
Classic Chad stride, of course. Of course. Right. So you can skip cutscenes, so we're not going to be seeing any text. But our commanding officers decided to enroll us in a secret mission to get recruited by the Krill, and the first step is to poison us. So we fall over unconscious. They ship us off in a crate into space. And the Krill pick us up, and there's some records that say that we're a convicted criminal. So they're like, oh, this guy must hate Earth, so we'll just recruit him. Why not? Can't be any problems with that plan. So they heal us up in their infirmary, and they decide to outfit us with one of their krill parasites. So you see this guy has got a giant eye on his head. All the krill wear parasites. They're more like symbiotes, but they increase the strength of the people that wear them. So we're going to get one right here. Apparently it bites onto your spine, so not exactly a comfortable transition there, but you know, don't worry about that. Right,
I just love that walk as he's walking towards the camera. Come on, it's so swagger.
Right away here, we're going to be in a battle now. I might get it here. Okay, yeah, so if you mash while this guy is fading into the battle, he can't hit you. I don't know why that happens, but works just fine. And now I can run, because krill parasite, you know, couldn't run before, but now that I've got a parasite biting down on my spine, I'm practically the Flash. So we'll go see the commander of this base, Bloss. He tells us to come back later. So we're going to go call our boss on Earth, Tierney, and report to him that we've successfully achieved recruitment by the Krill. And then we go back to see Bloss. There's a lot of running around like this, especially in the early game. It gets less so later in the game, but there's a bit of running around at the beginning here, just getting things set up in the story. Alright, so Bloss tells us we have a small mission to go to. So something to explain about the shooter missions, again, is random encounters are shooter missions, and the shooter missions usually have a certain enemy count you have to kill before the mission will end. So in this first mission, it's actually random. We can get anywhere between 5 and I think 12 enemies. Or no, this one has more. This one's 25 to 30, I think. But, okay, so we got good RNG there. Is 25 enemies. Very funny, on New Game Plus, you can actually kill the enemies so fast that this guy doesn't get to finish talking before it ends, but... Anyway. Yeah, so basically you just have to kill enemies until the counter reaches 0, and then the random encounter is over. Enemies drop experience, and you pick up experience and level up. The battle will not end until all of the experience pellets are collected. So you can optimize by destroying the least amount of enemies possible and then picking up all the XP pellets as fast as you can. Not gonna lie, probably gonna be a bit hard for me to always keep track of that. So I'm gonna have probably some suboptimal movement here and there, but no worries. Okay, so here we're introduced to Syme. I believe she says that her name rhymes with rhyme, so that's how I know how to pronounce it. And basically, she's very haughty and feels herself superior to us. So she's going to be our leader on this expedition that we're making to the planet's surface.
And we do have a donation bid war for this involving her, don't we? Something about, I don't know, saving or killing?
Yes, that is correct.
Without giving too many spoilers, if you don't like her and you want to kill her, donate for it. Otherwise, right now, we're saving her.
Yeah. But nearer to the end of the game, we'll have a choice to make. You know, donate if you don't like Syme, or donate if you do like Syme. Currently, I think save her is winning.
Oh yeah, right now saving Syme is at $85 or $55 to 0 for kill. We'll see if they'll give you enough time to hate her enough to kill her throughout the game.
So yeah, it just introduces us to the mechanic of random encounters, but basically I'll just be running around on the planet's surface, and then I'll get sucked up into a ship and have a random encounter. The RNG wasn't too bad. That was the one I meant for 5 to 12. So 7 is not too bad. I blew up a statue on the way here, and I'm going to do that occasionally. What I'm looking for when I blow up those statues is bombs. Just like any good space shooter game, it has a bomb that you can use to destroy all enemies on the screen, and they're very useful, especially in some of the forced fights that you have. Okay, this is a rather dangerous encounter. Now, hopefully it doesn't materialize the danger, but if I run into this guy, you gotta keep in mind I'm only level 1 right now. So if I run into this guy, who's a fairly tough enemy for the beginning of the game, I'm gonna take about maybe 3/4 of my life. So this ship, by the way, is really fast, so it's very easy to do stupid things in it. So there's a lot of encounters like that when you get to a new planet where the enemies are quite far above your level. And until we get the ability to skip encounters, we're going to have to watch out for that. For the most part, it's not too dangerous, but I have been fairly foolish on occasion and gone and killed myself, so let's try to avoid that shit, shall we? You can't get random encounters in caves. There's no worries when you're inside. You can actually reset your encounter timer, I guess you could say, by going into a cave. But I want to get as many mines, keep calling them mines, I do this on my own streams. Apologize if I say mines, but I do mean bombs. Alright, so you can see the counter in the corner is like 45. It started at 45. It's quite high. So this is where most of the time loss comes in the early game. It's very RNG heavy because the number of enemies you have to kill to clear the encounter can be high, and you can also just get a lot of encounters. This is not too bad since we are in the early game, but yeah, hopefully we can dodge quite a few encounters. So I'm going to pick up my first gun data here. It's the double shot. So basically gun data is new weapons that you can use in the shooter segments. We won't be picking up too much gun data since this is just any percent. 100% picks up all the gun data. But we'll just be picking up the essentials, basically. But you can see now, if you didn't notice it before, my bullets didn't actually go all the way across the screen. They kind of stopped short. But now with this double shot gun data, my bullets now go all the way across the screen. It's a significant upgrade. And I also just doubled my damage by leveling up, right? So each time you level up in this game, it gives you more health and... it gives you more health and more damage. So each level gives you 1 point of damage, one singular point of damage. So it would be nice.
It takes a while to level up, doesn't it? 390 until the next level.
Yeah, and enemies around this area don't give very much experience. There will be more experience to be had later, but you don't get a lot of damage very fast, and then we will be getting pretty far behind once we start skipping encounters. So forced encounters like this is like a kind of a boss stage. Forced encounters like this are some of the best place to get experience because enemies are usually a little bit higher leveled. You know, they give a little bit more experience, and any experience that you can get here, you know, you're obviously not losing time for collecting experience because it's a forced encounter. So you want to level up as much as you can to get as much damage as possible for later in the game. And I like to use the bomb encounters mostly, the bomb weapons mostly for these encounters because you can clear like wide swaths of enemies and get a lot of experience. So, not too critical that I get a whole lot of experience, but it is nice, and it obviously speeds up fights if you are able to get a higher level. Okay, and you can see my health is decreasing quite a bit here. That's not something I have to worry about too much. Another little thing that happens when you level up is fully restores your health. So I'll be using that in a few places to try and restore my health just before the boss, or you know, a little bit before, so that I can hopefully have a better fight.
Make things really tight early on, don't they? Some of those tight corridors.
A little bit. I should say all the random encounters, when you get into one, the ship you have is random. It won't always be this ship or the fast ship. There's some very slow ships, and those can make some encounters very difficult. So we'll see if I get any of those, but hopefully not. You don't want the slower ships. And then the map that random encounter has is also random, so can be one that's very bad for whatever particular ship you have. So hopefully we won't get any bad combinations, but I mean, it's all luck.
It'd be boring if it was all easy and you knew what's going to happen every time.
Exactly.
So while you're digging real quick, we got a $50 donation from Nightflyer, someone who's been helping us out behind the scenes this week. No message, but that money went towards Illusion of Gaia, showing off the wrong warp. That run will be tomorrow, and right now the incentive is at $271 out of $350.
Wow. Get your donations in. I want to see that. Right, we're just coming up on the first boss. Well, the first, real boss here. The mining drill. It's random where he comes out, and it's random what pattern he takes before he goes back into the wall. So hopefully he'll stay out for quite a long time. But he can just go in, like he can just exit the wall and then go right back in. So, you can get some pretty bad luck here. Usually it's not so bad, but I've lost up to 5 minutes on this encounter before, so, hopefully nothing, probably won't be too bad. He's taking a lot of straight lines here, which is very good. So I'm able to get some more shots in. So that was a very good fight. I was able to shoot him when he was moving in straight lines there. Unfortunately, you can't shoot backwards just yet. There's the gun data for that later, but so if he was behind us, we wouldn't be able to hit him, but he mostly came out in front of us, so very good. Alright, so Sime here gives us a scanner. This allows us to see hidden objects on the ground, and we'll use that on our way back to the ship. I should say we were surveying this planet for some seismic readings. That was our story reason for being here. And now we finished, so back to the ship. I think we got time for a donation or anything you want to do.
We don't have a donation right now, but I do want to talk about a little bit more in donation incentives. Obviously, we have the save or kill sign in this one, with save right now winning. The run after this is going to be a custom robo race. And right now, we have no names for either of the two heroes. So any donation right of now gets your name into it, assuming we don't get a rush of those. And but there's no names for that. And there is also pick the robo color with blue way out in front of everyone else at $100 to none. And then after that, we have some Final Fantasy where you can choose parties, the classes of the runner. He's not going to know what the classes are until the start of his run, and you can name the 4 light warriors while you're at it also.
All right. We're just coming up on a couple of gun data pickups here. So I'll be picking up the gun data power shot, which gives me +1 to my damage. It's the equivalent of basically 1 extra level. So why not grab it, right? Just a little bit extra damage.
More levels.
And this will... It has a worse hitbox than the current gun data I'm using, but the damage is nice, so we will be using this for most of the run, because just 1 extra shot, or 1 extra damage on our shot, rather. Pretty good. And then we'll also be picking up the most broken impact data in the entire game. I don't know what they were thinking with this impact data, but okay, so essentially... impact data is just when it hits the enemy, what does it do? In this case, this is impact data that says when it hits the enemy, it spawns a little bubble. So the bubble is supposed to rise up from where you shot the enemy and hit, say, something else. But for some reason, the way they programmed it, if it doesn't kill the enemy that it hits, and you can see the bubbles rising here, if it doesn't kill the enemy that it hits, the bubble just spawns inside of the enemy, and the bubbles do about the same amount of damage as your regular shot, I'm pretty sure. So by picking up this gun data, you effectively double your damage, which is like insane for the later fights. Like comparatively, if you were using bubble versus using something else, bubble is really good.
Maybe they didn't expect you to use bubbles later in the game when it actually does help. Because right now it doesn't look like it does a whole lot.
Yeah, right now, pretty much kill the enemies instantly because they don't have very much health, but once you get to even just the second planet, it's a pretty dramatic usefulness. Although you won't be able to tell because obviously I have it equipped right now, so you won't be able to see the difference, but it does make quite a difference. And of course, I'm going to go just a tiny bit out of my way to get some statues. I want to get as many bombs as I can. Bombs decrease in usefulness as you go through the game because you can just kill the enemies, and generally bombs are not the most effective way to kill enemies unless there's a huge amount on screen. But I do want as many bombs as I can get most of the time, at least for the early game, because it's very helpful in clearing out some troublesome enemies. We're about to head back to the ship here. I guess you... Oh, not much else to say for now, I suppose. And random encounters in this game can take quite a bit of time, so you do lose quite a bit of time if you get bad luck with the encounters. But oh, and here's also a good example of, you see how the ship is larger.
It's a big ship.
Yeah, those larger ships are quite a bit slower, and obviously their hitbox is like huge, so I don't want to see those ships ever. So whenever I get one, it's pretty unlucky. So we're just going to go see Bloss. Our valiant work defeating the drill has earned us a promotion. So we're about to move on to a new starbase with a new commander. We have to report in first to our boss on Earth, but we'll be moving from the we'll be moving from the forest planet to the fire planet. And as you can imagine, the change in scenery gives...
It doesn't sound like a promotion to me.
Well, you know, it's a living. So we'll just head over to the launch bay. And gotta be careful when you're accessing the launch bay menu, because on a few planets it defaults to land, which is not good. You don't always want to land. You most often don't want to land at all, so it defaulting to that option is not so great, but yeah, we'll select a fire planet and head on over here. So we're going to meet our new boss, Zelly. Commander Zelly. She's very distrustful towards us at the moment. So first thing, we gotta go to our room. As soon as we get to our room, we get a call from our boss on Earth, and he's like, "Oh, you gotta report in now that you're at your new station, but the comm room is locked. So we have to talk to one of the krill on this base that was assigned to clean the comm room and get the key from them. We say, we're going to clean the comm room. This poor krill has no idea what's in store for them.
Man, this game sounds like it has a lot of mundane plot triggers.
It sure does. Unfortunately, well, I suppose I can talk about it a little later, but...
Classic JRPG plot trigger, mundane plot triggers.
Now we just report to Tyranny, and then we're off to the planet. So our mission on this planet, we gotta put 3 projectors, I believe they're called. Or maybe they're just beacon nodes, but we have to put them on the planet so they can project force fields over the holes on the planet, because there's a lot of gaps in the path. So that's our mission here, and that's what we'll be doing first. But before we do that, we really need to grab a particular gun data. So we're going to take a little detour to grab this. This is the front-back cannon data. So this allows us to shoot forward and backwards at the same time. There's a particular encounter on this planet with, it's sort of like a green crab. Not really sure how to describe it, but essentially if we get that encounter and we have the really slow ship, you don't have front-back cannon, it's like guaranteed death. So we really don't want that encounter. So we pick up the front-back cannon. So here we found our first node. And to save time, you void out here, and you can just, you spawn back in where you entered the screen, so you can just go back up and save a little bit of time there. This is the reason why we go to that one first, not only to get the front back cannon, but also because there's a void out point really close there. It also influences why we go to the second point, the second node point, because you can do them in any order, but as a routing decision, it's pretty easy to make the decision to go to these particular nodes because they have void out points that you can use to save a little bit of time backtracking, and the last one doesn't have any void out points. Oh yeah, and when you re-enter, if there are any enemies nearby, they just explode. Saves you having to deal with them. I used to pick up that gun data, but we'll be getting one that's a little closer to our path instead. It's just a gun data with a really large hitbox. We'll be using that about halfway through the game, I think. Great. Enemy designs in this game can be pretty wild. I don't know, some kind of bubble shrimp. Yeah, some of them are a little bit out there. It's not too bad about it, but yeah, the shrimp is a good encounter because it's fairly quick to deal with. And hey, who doesn't love shrimp? Now is probably good as time as any. Just if you want to do any other.
Sure. I don't have any donations right now, but one thing I could talk about is donation prizes. Yes. If you donate during this game, you have a chance to be entered into winning one of the few prizes we have going on right now. We got If you donate a minimum of $5 during this run, you can be entered to win either a Dragon Quest VIII copy of Dragon Quest VIII with a slime pouch. It's a cute little slime pouch. I think it's used to, you know, you can it's like a wallet, you know. It's really cute though. It's just filled with all kinds of crazy slime. Or you can win a copy of Final Fantasy IX along with some Final Fantasy IV goodies, stickers and stuff like that that go with it. Or you'd be entered into, we got our grand prize of the event, with a minimum of $30 donation throughout the entire event, not just this run. You will be entered for the PlayStation 3 bundle that we have. Comes with a copy of Ni no Kuni, a controller, and a Model A launch release PlayStation 3, completely refurbished and fixed with the yellow light of death hotfix, which means you don't have to worry about the yellow light of death. And it is fully backward compatible. It's the very first model that we got.
The ship is making this quite difficult. Slow moving and it's kind of bad. This is actually less bad than the other one that's more triangular. Because its hitbox is a little smaller, but no problem. I suppose I can say, so I routed, right, well, I played this game growing up. I think I heard about it on like some GameFAQs post or something. Anyway, played it growing up, and when I started speedrunning, I always wanted to speedrun this game because I'm like, hey, I love this game. Why not? I also am actually generally a fan of games that have a lot of RNG, which is not so good for speedrunning, but does add for quite a fun experience. So this game had no route when I was looking at it at first, so I routed and ran all three categories. So they do exist, the routes now, which is good. If anyone else wants to run it, I mean, you know, just PM me. I'll send you the notes. I'll send them right over. But yeah, there are three categories for this game: any percent, 100%, and any percent new game plus best ending. So we're doing any percent right now, but the difference between the categories is 100% collects all gun data, and New Game Plus is New Game Plus starting a file with all the gun data unlocked already, as well as achieving the best ending, because that's the only real difference in New Game Plus. And I mean, who doesn't like a happy ending? So I figured that would be a good category. So we're just gonna finish up with our nodes right here. And these creatures come along and block the node signal. So you just gotta blow these up. Now, after this node creature mission, we'll be warped back to the ship, which is much faster than going backwards because of the number of encounters you would get on the way back. So that also influenced my decision to put this as the third spot. But yes, unfortunately there is a lot of sections here where there's not much going on. I mean, the random encounters are essentially randomly giving me an auto-scroller, so I mean, there you go. You can sort of speed up the auto-scrolling segments, but not by too much. And no, I usually don't get hit on purpose. Although most of the time, it doesn't really matter because you just explode and come back. You only lose a little bit of health. Oh, this ship is actually cool. You see how it's a large ship at first, but if you take any damage, a smaller ship comes out. They got pretty creative with their designs, but unfortunately there's really no reason to use the larger ship at all, since the smaller ship is faster and just has a smaller hitbox, so... But I appreciate the design work that they put into this game. I believe they actually held a contest with some artists for some of the enemy designs. So they got pretty creative with some of them. Ah, yes. So now that we've put the nodes down for the ship, it's projecting force fields over the holes in the environment, so now we can explore a little bit more. And our purpose here was, just like the last planet, to make a survey of the kind of geological readings. Because there's like tremors on the planet. We're looking to get some data on those tremors. Oh, there's a bomb. And so right now, we're just heading to a fissure that's large enough for us to get a good reading. That's the idea here. We didn't have access before because we didn't have the force fields projected, but now, you know, easy peasy with the force field. And yes, if I ever do something stupid like position myself very close to an enemy and attempt to destroy it, that is probably just me being stupid, but sometimes you can get away with it. Generally, it doesn't cost really much time to die in a mission, since enemies pretty much proceed at a steady rate. So, it's not too bad, but generally I would like to avoid floating.
Just gonna drop in a quick $30 anonymous donation. No message or towards anything, but thank you very much, anonymous. Your donations are always plentiful and appreciated.
Indeed, thank you very much for the donations. For a very good cause, NAMI. We got another shrimp here. Wow. I always feel strongly that I should be feeling any dead air. But unfortunately, there isn't much I can talk about without having, like, there's stuff I'll talk about when I get to the next section, but yeah, mostly these random encounters there's not much to them.
They're random encounters. They're annoying. They get in the way. It's nothing exciting, and occasionally you die from them.
Exactly. Although it is pretty tough to die in this game once you start getting to a decent level for the planet, but yeah. So I have a fairly good supply of bombs here.
They look like Doritos.
They do look like Doritos. Delicious enemy destroying Doritos. And the amount of bombs I have is quite good for this particular. Well, I mean, I have full bombs right now, which is excellent. Sometimes I'll get here and I won't have that many bombs, but the reason I like bombs so much in this coming encounter, there's a lot of enemies that are quite difficult to destroy in good time. Like these blue kind of popcorn looking enemies. They have a lot of health, so being able to just blow them away with bombs is quite good. And there are quite a few of them in the upcoming forced mission.
Oh no, we're turning everything into food now.
Shrimp, popcorn, come on.
Now we need popcorn shrimp. That's where it's at.
Man, something funny about these popcorns is if I shoot them from the front, they go forwards, but if you shoot them from behind, they still go forwards. So if you start shooting them from behind, they'll quickly progress and crash into you. So yeah, don't do that if you're playing this game. Alright, so here's a good spot for a bomb. There's a lot of enemies. There's actually so many enemies that they probably will lag the screen a bit, but it's worth to get the XP here. I'm not entirely sure what level I am, but I believe from testing, this was a long time ago that I remembered what the level figures are, but the level I want for this forced encounter, the boss fight, is around level 15, I think. And if I don't hit level 15, then my damage is going to be kind of low for the boss. There's a move that the boss has where he fills the whole screen with lava. And if I don't have enough damage, I can't stop him from doing that. It's not such a big deal, but ideally I would be level 15. So there are some good opportunities for me to get some good experience off of these enemies. They're a little bit higher level than the enemies we've been dealing with for most of the Fire Planet. So it's a good chance for me to use bombs to just kill them. And that is another good use for bombs, is when enemies are higher level than you, they give you a lot of experience. But you can't kill them. But bombs will kill any enemy, so having a good supply of bombs is always nice when you move to a new planet.
I feel like I've done this level before in Bowser's Keep.
Well, there's certainly the same amount of lava. Maybe even a little bit more.
The walls that go up and down trying to crush Mario. I mean, the ship is red.
Hey, they're cribbing from good game design. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I noticed things here give you quite a bit of experience. You gain like, what, a quarter of a level or so just killing that group of, just bombing that group of popcorn.
Exactly. So this is, because those popcorn are quite a bit higher leveled than the average encounter, and you only see them in this mission and some of the further out areas of the Fire Planet. So, can I bomb them? So they're not common for this time period, which is why it's so good to encounter them and then use bombs to kill them, because the experience you get is quite valuable. And we do want to get as high a level as possible before we stop getting encounters, because, I mean, then we won't get to level up anymore. But we're almost through. I believe there's one more section after this, and then of the moving walls, maybe. And that should be it for this.
Do you take damage when you just like push down into a wall? Like, is there any
if
fall
you
damage?
collide with terrain, you take a little bit more damage than if you collide with an enemy.
So, like, when you're getting crushed here, if you touch any of the walls, you're going to take damage, even if you're just slowly scraping against it?
Yeah, pretty much any touch, you explode like you hit an enemy. And then you're briefly invulnerable, so you can position yourself not inside of a wall. And then hopefully not explode again. There is one map on the ice planet that is a very, very narrow tunnel. And if you get a bad ship, like one that has a wide hitbox, like the fastest ship, you can just explode over and over again and die. So, hopefully we don't see that, but it is possible. Alright, so here's the boss. It's a big worm.
A gummy worm.
As you do. Sci-fi game, worms, they just go together very well.
Which is weird, because, I guess space worms are as common as earthworms.
I mean, come on, Doom. Worms. I mean, they're not your everyday average worm, but
I don't know if that's a worm.
Right, so I seem to have a decent level here. I was able to get him to stop spitting lava before it filled the screen up entirely. You do not want to get hit by these pellets that he's shooting, because they deal a lot of damage. You also don't have iframes when you get hit by them. You can just get hit by like 5 in a row and take almost your entire life. That's not good, so we don't want to do that. The final boss also has a similar attack. So yeah, you generally just don't want to get hit by things. Pretty simple. And yeah, I do have to mash here, since this game does not have auto fire until you get a better gun data for it. So for now, I just have to mash. And the closer you are to a target, I think sometimes it gets easier to mash more, but
Yeah, it looks like there's a cap number of bullets that could be on the screen at one time.
yeah, so we want to get as many bullets in as possible, so follow this guy all the way down till we're just about touching lava. And you should get it in about 3 or 4 cycles, but if you hit like less, it's going to take longer. Oh, brilliant, that. So you can see about how much damage it takes when you collide with terrain. I think it does a set percentage of your health if you collide with terrain. I don't think that changes. So, it's fairly significant. I mean, obviously, I can take a few hits from terrain, but, you just start bumping into terrain all over the place. Things are not going to look up for you. So it should be one more. Oh, no, we got him. Okay, that's a bit of an early kill, actually, because usually you get him on the way up, so that's good. Good RNG in my game. More likely than you think. We level up 3 times, which shows how high level the boss was. And Bloon, since that's the male krill over there, came with us on that, so he now is shocked at our incredible piloting skills. Just pay no mind to those times I smashed directly into the ground, don't worry about that. But so impressed with our piloting skills, and that we managed to get out of there alive, he gives us a krill puck tool. So this is a tool you can use to clear those mines on the ground. And it's also quite effective at dispatching enemies. It can't kill all enemies, but it can kill most enemies, and it's pretty good for that. So we'll usually be using that to clear out enemies if we have to. Yes, leveling up does indeed increase HP and damage. Only 1 point per level, though. So we're now just heading back to the ship because we've got our data. So if you die during a ship segment, you die. Rest in peace. They'll give you a headstone, I'm sure. But we don't want to be doing that. Oh, this is the encounter that would have been bad at the beginning of the Fire Planet, but it's not so bad now because we have more levels. The reason it's so bad is that he shoots so many bullets, and if you're in a big ship that's moving slow, it's very difficult to dodge. So this would have been very bad at the beginning of the Fire Planet, but we only got it just now, so it's actually pretty good because it's a shorter encounter now, anyway. Yes, as BS Ben is saying in the chat, you get teleported to ships when they get spooked by something on the planet. So you got to deal with whatever's scaring the ship before you can go back down to the planet. So if the ship dies, obviously you haven't completed your mission, so you also die. And that was the idea with the Krill fleet. They explained this, I believe, in the earlier cutscene, but essentially the Krill fleet, they send out a fleet of ships across the whole planet. And the ships do all sorts of scouting or general control or whatever. When they encounter something they don't like, then they beam up a pilot. So the idea there is that they can get many more ships out in the open, you know, doing some scouting work, because the ships don't need a pilot. They have their own very, very rudimentary brain, I guess. But then if there's anything that the ships can't deal with, you get scared, then they beam up a pilot, and the pilot deals with the problem. Because we humans are smart, and the Krill are smart too, I guess. I say, and then I just like plow into the ground 5 times, but yeah, don't worry about that. Alright,
well, while he's returning to the ship, I'd just like to remind everyone, we are here to raise money for NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. When you're talking about the event and NAMI, make sure to use the hashtags QFGHH and the hashtag NotAlone to get the spread the word about NAMI and this event.
All right, so we get back. We call Tierney back at Earth, and we tell him, okay, so those guys, you know, the Krill that we're with, they're having a secret conference. And he's like, bro, you got to get in on the conference. I'm like, well, how do I do this? He says, figure it out. So we're going to blast open a vent here with the newly acquired Krill puck. And we're going to go eavesdrop on that conference. Now, the gun data that I picked up there is the triple shot. Basically just has a wider hitbox. So I will be using that in a couple fights. That is useful for that. The piddly little hitbox that we have on the current weapon is not really that great for a few of the fights. So it's good to pick up one. It's a large hitbox. Alright, so here's the hidden conference. They're having a conference with the I can't even remember if he's called Tyrannical, but basically the Tyrannical Overlord of the Krill people. He's very interested in these seismic results that we've been getting. Anyway, they've detected the calls that we've been making to Tierney. Uh-oh. So what do? Well, if you remember that Krill that we got the comm room key for, we just blame it on that sad, unfortunate Krill. And then they execute her. Whoops. That's unfortunate, but you know, at least we saved ourselves. You know, can't do much about that. And hey, you know, another promotion. We're off to the ice planet. But this time we're going there in a bit of a different way. This time we're going to the ice planet in a box. Now, over the course of the game, there's been some kind of romantic tension or something between you and Syme. Anyway, although she's very rude at the beginning of the game, you know, she warms up to you across, you know, over the course of the game, and so gives you a, you know, they're bored in the crate, so she gives you a kiss. And you also find out that that battle worm, the purple ship at the beginning of the game that you fought and exploded the eyes of, she was piloting that, and she got demoted because you beat her. Anyway, she swears revenge on Sigma Team, which is you, but doesn't know it's you. And you say, yeah, you're kissing me? Yeah, I'll help you out and kill Sigma Team. Yeah, sure. You know, just shuffling the fact that you're the leader of Sigma Team under the rug. This couldn't possibly have negative consequences in the future. I mean, come on. What could possibly go wrong?
And you all at home or work or wherever you are can choose to save or kill Syme as we get towards the end of the game. Right now, saving her is $55 to kill, which has 0. So if you really want to get back at her, you're welcome to.
Right, we also meet this other human scientist. They were creating some kind of virus to destroy some kind of alien matter. They thought it was krill matter that they were destroying. Anyway, the virus that they were creating got out into the food supply and turned everyone into zombies. Because, as we all know, crazy viruses turn people into zombies. This is just how things work. So now, ooh, I want that bomb. So now we have to go around dodging these zombies and alert the krill fleet above us that we're actually here with 10 flares. So we'll be running around and putting flares in the ground because although we were supposed to get transferred to the ice planet, you know, perhaps there was a little mix-up, or perhaps they were trying to close some loose ends, and they dumped our box directly on the ice planet. So we gotta get back into space. You know, can't be living on the ice planet here. It's not gonna work out. This was a hidden research outpost. So I am gonna save here. We don't have encounters yet, but we will get encounters once we finish notifying the krill fleet. So the reason that's important is there's one particular encounter, just like the fire planet, where if we get that encounter, we're just dead. Like there's this one even more so than the fire planet encounter. Like if we get this encounter that I hope we don't, we're just 100% dead. There's just no chance that we survive. And it's like a ice flower. It's a giant ice flower kind of thing. The petals split apart and you're supposed to shoot the core. But the petals deal so much damage because they count as a enemy attack. So Yeah, let's not get that encounter. How about that?
It sounds so pretty.
Well, it does certainly look nice. But, you know, all the glitters ain't gold.
Well, I got a couple of quick donations here. We
Yeah.
got $5 from K Fizzle4 with no message, and $5 from Dragonista with no message. Those went towards naming a character in Dragon Warrior 3 or Dragon Quest 3 and showing off the wrong warp and Illusion of Gaia, inching our way there to reaching that incentive goal. Only about $74 away, I believe.
Oh, wow, very good. Get your donations in if you want to reach that goal.
Oh yeah, that wrong warp is something that was just discovered maybe a month ago, month and a half ago, and it's changed the game and all of the categories of Illusion of Gaia pretty much.
Oh wow, very fancy. Hot new tech.
Hot new tech, yep.
Hot off the press. So get your donations in if you want to check out the sick new tech for Illusion of Gaia.
That's what we're here for, is to show off the new tech.
Alright, so right now, you can see the timer in the top right of the screen. Not right now, but in the adventure segment. And basically, they found out that they were developing this virus that infected all of the humans on the planet. And the Krill are like, well, you know, not to be rude, but we don't want to die horribly from the virus, so we're just gonna casually nuke the entire planet's surface to get rid of it. So while we're doing that, we're gonna do it in 5 minutes. So if you could just mosey on over to the ship in 5 minutes before we completely destroy every life form on the planet, you know, that'd be pretty good.
Seems reasonable. Plenty of time.
So we gotta get ourselves over to the ship as fast as possible. And while we're doing that, the Krill fleet has been deployed, so now we can get encounters again. And that is why I had to save, because I do not want to get that reset encounter. Should be another saved point coming up soon, so here we are. Be sure to save here as well, because you can lose, you know, minutes to that, and ideally you don't, but just to be safe, you know, this is a marathon after all. Oh, and there's the very narrow passageway I was talking about before. This ship is not bad for it, but imagine the large ship in this narrow corridor. And
It's the
yeah,
story of my life.
it's not going to work so great. Also, it spawns you directly in front of a wall when you first start the mission. So that's nice. Almost guaranteed damage if you don't immediately crank down on the D-pad. Yes, this is one of the less good maps, in my opinion, but yeah, they can get a little bit silly with a few of the maps. Usually it's not so bad, but this is one of those iffy ones.
Speaking of silly, we got a $4.81 donation from Anonymous. Don't mind me just making palindromes with the donation tracker. You're not all going to stand for that, are you?
What is the donation counter at right now?
1844481.
Very nice. Well, will it remain a palindrome, or could we perhaps be looking at
Inching closer to that $20,000 with the entire weekend to go still.
Very good. Very good. Hopefully we'll see that $20,000 soon. And perhaps even more. so we are just clearing out a few encounters. We're almost back to the ship. But, just got a little bit more to go.
And just a reminder that the next run after this is Custom Robo Race, and we still don't have any naming incentives for any of the characters. So it's 2 naming incentives that are still wide open for people to snag.
I mean, who knows? You could name them anything. Have fun with it. Any donations are always welcome. So, and now's your chance to name a character in what I assume is a long RPG. We could be looking at your name choice, so get those donations in. And this is not the bat encounter, okay. Some kind of ice lion that shoots daggers at you because, you know, that makes as much sense as anything.
I mean, if you want to, you can donate to name the characters after ferrets.
Why not? It turns out 5 minutes actually is a fairly ample amount of time. Not too much to worry about here. The next escape sequence is a little bit more dangerous. There is another escape sequence in this game coming in.
It's always good that the escape sequences take the time to pause their timer so you can fight random encounters.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I can't be running on the ground and escaping at the same time as random encounters. They respect my wishes, you know. They respect what I have to do, so I'll go ahead and pause that timer. Good use for a bomb there. These enemies that are splitting apart count as one enemy when they're together, but they count as 4 enemies when they split apart. So you can actually finish off the enemy counter pretty quick there. Alright, so the next screen is the ship, so almost there. Alright. So we're back to the ship. Here we meet this guy called Ek. I want you to remember that name. I will be saying things about Ek later. But Bloon, actually, before we left for this planet, wanted us to talk to Ek to see if he could get transferred because they were, you know, purging the possible leaks back at Zelly's starbase. So he wanted to get out of there while he still could. So we talked to Ek about getting a transfer. I may as well save here. Saving also restores all your HP, so it's good to do that on occasion, but I'm just going to save here before we do. And here they talk about how they are basically torturing Scarlet, the female scientist that we rescued on the ice planet. Because they basically make some krill make humans their slaves because we're at war. Very bad practice at IMO. But anyway, hopefully we can get back and save Scarlet soon. But before we do that, we can come back to Zelly's starbase, and you can see she killed everyone on the starbase. They're all dead. RIP. Can't have that information leak getting out, you know. And then she tells us, hey, you know that guy Bloon? Yeah, you gotta kill him. Because he could be an information leak. So, we're gonna go find Bloon. Turns out he's been transferred to the forest planet, so... taking a trip across the galaxy. Now that we have the Krill Puck, we can access different parts of the planet. So this is the way it gates progression. Oh, right. That's right. Not yet. Go see Bloss. Bloss will say, balloons on the planet surface. Then we go down to the planet surface. Now, there is a optional item that you could get here. I never have gotten it in any of my runs, but there's an optional thing, impact data you could pick up here. So for when you're going through weak enemy areas, you can pick up the duo counter item here, the gun data. And it essentially just means that anytime you kill an enemy with a duo counter equipped, it counts for 2 enemies on the enemy counter. So
Double the experience.
Well, actually, it's half the experience.
Oh, you get half the experience. You just get through random encounters faster.
Yeah, that's the idea. But I do not pick up the duo counter. I think it's a bit slow to pick it up. But anyone decides to run this game other than me, you know, that is an option. I've never found it particularly useful, but it is an optional item you can get there.
Look at that flying freezer.
Quite a variety of enemies. Look at this eyeball tree. We got a little creative with, perhaps a little too creative with a few of them, but some interesting enemy designs. So I'll go into this cave here, which should reset my encounter timer. So I can go a few more steps without getting an encounter, because you cannot get encounters in caves. So it resets the timer there. Interesting. This was a good encounter, actually. I got very few enemies required to finish it. Good. Alright, so just up here is Bloon. And we're supposed to have some kind of proof that we killed him. Bloon is our buddy, though, because he gave us the Krill Puck. So instead, he just cuts off a part of his parasite so that, you know, we can give it to Zoe and say, hey, we killed Bloon. Unfortunately for Bloon, that part of the parasite had a very good grip on his spine, so whenever I run this game, the split is named Bloon's Spine, and F for Bloon's Spine, so he'll be okay. At least he's not dead. Yet. Oh wow, look at that. That encounter went by in a flash. So ideally you get encounters that are pretty short, but again, it is random. Actually, I can get into this cave. Just make sure I reset the encounter timer just a little bit. Alright, so now we just need to head back to the ship. And then we'll go back to Zoe, give her the piece of the parasite. And then we can head back to the ice planet. And we'll get a really, really nice item. So good things in this game come in twos. So we got the bubble upgrade, and it doubled our damage. And soon enough, right after we go back to the ice planet, we'll get the krill boots, which will roughly double our movement speed. So in the adventure sections. So that is really nice. The doubled movement speed doesn't mean we don't get encounters, but we can get out of screens faster, and so we're less likely to get encounters on those screens. So this will be a very good upgrade. Did anyone ever route a 100% for this game? I did. I did in fact route 100% for this game. I routed any percent, 100%, and any percent new game plus best ending. Those are the 3 categories. If you look me up on YouTube, which is the same name on YouTube as my Twitch channel, or I guess you could also look at my Twitch VODs, twitch.tv/CasinoCoin. I believe I have a VOD of that run, like some of the runs I did for this game on there. So if you ever want to check out 100%, that's in there. And if you ever want to run 100%, because this game could always use more runners, hit me up, you know. Always willing to share my notes with anyone. Boots at all is because we have to go retrieve this black box, which has information on the virus that the people were creating here. So we are given the krill boots because why not? Go fast. And that's how they gate the progression of this area. Because in order to do that little stomp move there that opens the door, you have to have the krill boots. Now, as you can see, for this battle, this is one of those terrible fights that you don't like to see. You literally hate to see it. The enemy counter for this particular battle is 99, which is the highest it can go. And obviously, that's not very fast. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about it other than just kill almost 100 enemies. But this is one of the reasons why taking encounters can be so bad. Oh dear. Also, because there is no boss for the ice planet, we're starting to get a little underleveled. Like, well, starting to get a little underleveled. We already are underleveled, and this will only get worse as the game goes on. So this is not super significant damage-wise because of the bubble. However, although it's not so bad because of the bubble gun data, giving us a decent amount of damage, it will become very dangerous for us to take damage from enemies, like running into them, because we're way lower level than we're supposed to be. So for one brief moment, before we get the ability to skip encounters, we may have some trouble, and then in the couple of forced encounters, we might also have a little bit more trouble. Oh, rip. Stream is down. Rip.
Yeah, we just had minor little hiccups here with the video, getting it fixed.
Well,
Sometimes hiccups happen with the system.
Yeah, that's just how things go. Sometimes. Am I still live audio-wise, or?
Oh yeah, everyone's been hearing you fine the entire time. We were just having the video hiccup is all.
All right, so for described video viewers, I just picked up the black box, and now I'm going to be heading back to the ship.
We'll get it looking nice and neat on the screen here in just a moment.
Ah, well. Getting unlucky with bomb drops from some of these statues. I do want a good amount of bombs. I mean, I already have a good amount of bombs. Although you can't see it, I have 5 bombs. It's good to have quite a few bombs for the upcoming boss. Just for the stage. Because it'll be good to get some extra experience in the stage, clear out some enemies. There are a couple awkward spots. So... save one single time after one of the cutscenes in the base. I've gotten back to the ship now, by the way. One of the cutscenes on the ship, after one of them, I had the game just crash for some reason. Not really sure why it happened, but yeah, just to be sure that doesn't happen, I saved the game. Alright, and when you get back to the ship, turns out the virus has somehow become sentient and has turned into blue piles of goo that you gotta blow up. This is just fantastic, by the way, for all you people that can't see it. These blobs of goo, you know, the sprite is just fantastic. Really is just great. Trust me, I'm definitely telling the truth about that. But yeah, unfortunately, the virus became sentient. You go blow it up, because that's how you do, you know, everything in this game. You just blow it up. And once the virus is gotten rid of... Hey, thanks for telling me the stream is back. Once you get rid of the virus, the commander of this base, I believe his name is NOMAC, tells you, hey, the humans are sending armada of ships after you. or like they're sending an armada of ships to attack us right now. So we need you to go fly and beat them. But, Wrecker, not actually being a convicted criminal, even though that's what they sent along with him, doesn't really feel so happy about blowing up a bunch of his allies. So he is not feeling so great about this, but he'll do it anyway because, I mean, why not? So in this mission, you see these other Sigma team ships. Interestingly enough, well, they do a lot of damage and they can make movement awkward, but for some reason, if you fly behind them, they just leave. Like they'll pretty much instantly just leave if you fly behind them. So anytime a Sigma team ship comes up, except for like this one that comes behind me, pretty much just want to fly behind it so that it goes away. And then you don't have to worry about it obstructing you or shooting you. They do quite a bit of damage. At this point in the game, we're quite heavily underleveled. And I just ran into some of those shots, but it's fine because I leveled up. The terrain is kind of awkward here. It's the ships from the human armada that you have to fly through. And now the boss of this area as well. So the boss of this area is pretty dangerous, I guess. I'll let its appearance speak for itself once we get there, but it's going to be a bit of a long fight, so hopefully we don't encounter any problems. But until then, mostly I'm just going to be maneuvering around Human Armada.
Well, we don't have any new donations to read. We're still stuck on the same palindrome that we've been on for a while. But just want to remind everyone that we do have a bid war for this game, Saim, the completely annoying into love interest into whatever she becomes next. You have the option to save or kill her as we get towards the end of the game. Saving her right now is in the lead, but, you know, maybe if she goes from not being the love interest anymore, we can think about getting rid of her. What do you all say? I don't know. We'll have to follow the story and see what happens.
She does become an enemy later.
You weren't supposed to spoil it all, you know? The intrigue and all that.
Well, I mean, but then she becomes a love interest again. And then, you know, she flip-flops all over the place, you know?
But yeah, so we got that. Plus, Custom Robo is after this run, and we still don't have any naming incentives for that. We've met the bad ending incentive goal, and we got colors for the Robos, but we don't have any names yet. So get those donations in to name one of the characters, or make 2 donations and name them both.
Let's see if I can get one more level up. Good. I actually used to pick up, there was a gun data, initially during my routing, I had the gun data that's not front-back cannon, but it's sort of the same as front-back cannon, except instead it's called horizontal alternating cannon. It shoots forward and then back. Turns out that cannon sucks. So we go out of our way to pick up the front-back cannon now, but the horizontal alternating cannon is closer to the root, but it's definitely more worth it to get front-back just so you can shoot forward and back. So the boss of this area is a Gundam, because why not? So this guy has an awkward move where after he takes a little bit of damage, he'll put up a shield. If you shoot him while he has the shield up, he'll immediately chase you all over the screen and then until he punches you. This is really dangerous and does a lot of damage to us at this point, so, you know, don't want to do that. So he does give you a little bit of leeway time, but you can get quite screwed over with the damage, and you just can't shoot him when he's doing the shield. It's a little awkward, but you just got to deal with it. So this is what makes this area like this quite long, and then it also makes it quite dangerous since his damage is quite high. So the only time you're really able to shoot him is when he's shooting his own weapon, because when he's shooting his own weapon, it'll take him a little bit to bring up the shield, so you're better off. Sometimes he goes directly into the punching attack if he is shot at a time that he's not shooting, so you just gotta be careful and get through it as best you can. But yes, you see, this is how you know the humans are all men of culture, because, I mean, they made Gundams, really. When you're in space, if you can make anything you want, why not make Gundams? Am I right? And I've made a mistake. So you see, he'll just chase you until he can punch you. And he does a pretty good chunk of damage. If you come here on low health, you're probably screwed. I came in at almost full health. I think I did come in at full health, which is quite good. But, right, so he'd kill me in about 4 or 5 hits. 5 hits, I think. So, not ideal, obviously. And I have done it again. Okay, so he'll kill me in 4 hits. Great. Good to know. Alright, we got him, though. Not too bad. But it's fairly easy to just shoot him by accident, and then he comes right after you, and then... yeah, it's not so good. Alright, so... you remember this guy's name? F is Drek. He is now dead. Because he was treating Scarlet too harshly, the female scientist. And now Syme has decided that Nomak is being thorn in our side. And we've also discovered that the seismic data is also all very suspicious, and this virus that was destroying some certain kind of alien matter is also not for krill matter. It actually is destroying some kind of other alien matter. Anyway, basically, we've decided to go rogue. And so we get Scarlet out of there, and we go to this planet to investigate another planet with seismic readings that are the same as the other 2 planets. So we're here to investigate. And we're also here to figure out what kind of matter, like what kind of alien matter, the virus is actually supposed to destroy. And in order to do that, we're going to have to collect fossils from the surface of the planet. Hello? There we go. Exactly, we have a fish waifu and a non-fish waifu. Although I wouldn't call her a fish. Although the name of the race is krill, it's more like some kind of lizard. I'm not really sure. So we're going to go down to the planet's surface. We're also about to get the best weapon in the game. It makes a bit of a racket because it auto-fires, but the auto rate of fire is great. So, yeah, we'll pick that up right quick here. And it is for sure the best weapon. I'm telling you guys, this weapon, it's just fantastic. Alright. This is the free aim cannon weapon. So, it automatically fires, so I don't have to mash, which is great. And you can aim it in any direction that you want. Because it auto-fires, you just hit the fire button and a direction, and it'll start firing in that direction. Which is pretty good. And it allows us to clear encounters much faster, and is really, really good for this planet in particular, since they upgrade the enemies now. But we can deal with them with the new weapon. So, you see, it fires quite quickly. Although it does make quite a bit of noise when it does so. But it allows us to clear enemies very quickly. Like, these enemies otherwise would be quite difficult for us to destroy, since they're quite a bit higher level than we're used to at the moment. This planet is also the last chance we get for experience. So any levels that we get here are the last ones we're going to get for some time. I mean, we will still get levels from bosses, but for some time we're not going to be able to get experience. So, you've heard of paleontology. You know, you dig up bones, you dust them off, put them in a museum. But in the future, paleontology is a bit different. Here you have to fight the reanimated bones of whatever you were looking for, and you just gotta shoot it, and in this way, that is how you acquire fossils. Paleontology became a much more exciting profession in the future, as you can see. This is how we are gonna gather the fossils together to decipher what the virus was for. Whatever this creature was apparently what the virus was for. Oh yeah, some hitbox is still active even after it started to explode. Because that makes sense. Only 5 more to go, so you need 7 fossils. We run around the planet fighting ancient fossils, as you do. They also refresh your encounter timer every time you finish a fossil fight, which is quite good, because it means we don't get any regular encounters. If I do get a regular encounter, either my movement was bad, or like really bad, or more likely I was just very unlucky to get a regular encounter.
Well, we did get a couple of $1 donations from El Magus. Wants to name those 2 heroes in Custom Robo, El Magus and Swoogie. We had to make sure that those names were all right first off, but I think we're fine with them. So you have something to beat if you'd like to name the heroes in Custom Robo. Just need $2 to beat either hero name now.
Well, there you go. Get your money in now if you want to name those characters. How long is the Custom Robo run?
It was about 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Well, there you go. You'll be seeing those names for 2 hours and 15 minutes, so I mean, you can pick anything you like. So get those donations in now. just got 3 more fossils, and then we'll be heading back to the ship. And right after this... Whoops. Fat fingered the L button. Alright. There goes my last bomb. But bombs are not too important at this point, because your weapon is so good. Bombs are no longer that important. Although I would like a couple more bombs for a mission that will come up quite far in the future. For now, it's not too much of a problem. So after this segment, we will be getting the ability to skip encounters at the cost of moving slightly slower on the overworld. Now, I haven't completely optimized this game, so there's still some work to be done there. But, like, you could swap to the boots to move really quickly instead of the item that lets you skip encounters for some shorter rooms to get through them faster. But I haven't looked in detail enough at every single room to be absolutely sure which one I can use the boots for. There is some optimization to be done there, but we will be getting the ability to skip encounters very soon. And then it's just a pretty much straight shot through a few story objectives to the finish. And I believe we get the wings. Oh, I spoiled it there, didn't I? But yeah, we do get some wings at about the 2/3 mark. Somewhere around there. So I don't know what kind of pace I'm on, but hopefully, you know, we're getting there. I did do a bunch of practice to make sure that I could get underestimate here, but, you know, bad things can happen.
Well, we did get a couple more donations. Got 2 more from GK. I'm guessing, seems suspicious, but it sounds like GK for Ghost Kumo, maybe? One of the custom Robo Runners. Dropped a $7 donation with the hearts, and an $8 donation for I Love Robo Battles, adding a couple of new names to the pool. So step aside, Almagus and Eswoogie. We now have Test Sandwich or Toast Sandwich, depends how you look at it, and Fairy Bread as our 2 names for our custom robos.
A lot of bread. Fits well with the food theme for some of the enemies in this game.
Where's our popcorn chicken? Why haven't we got popcorn and chicken as the names yet?
Alright, so we gathered the fossils, and now we're gonna go get them analyzed. But Syme faints, and they're like, oh yeah, so you know, when a female krill getting all hot and bothered about some guy, her body goes through some kind of strange process. And so our main character here, and I don't believe I've even said his name yet this run, but his name is Wrecker. But our main character here is all worried, and he's like, "Oh man, geez, oh geez, oh man, I'm gonna be like a dad or something." But it's not quite what's going on here. But in order to, you know, care for Syme in this trying time, we've got to find some clear water. And the best place for that is the forest planet. We return here, and we're able to zoom quite a bit faster because we've got our boots now. And we could have visited the area beforehand where the clear water pool was, but we wouldn't have been able to do anything because the story event hasn't been started yet. This game is quite good about not having story triggers like be skippable, so even if you could get to an area later in the game, it would be unlikely you'd be able to sequence break. I mean, it's possible, but yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
Sounds to me like you're trying to save Sime right now.
Well, sort of. Although
I
that's
don't know. It seems the people want to save Sime right now too, but still got a chance to save or kill Sime here as we're getting towards the end of the game.
We're inching ever closer to the finish. Oops. Forgetting how my gun works for a second there. Alright, so right here on this next screen, the pool of water. So if they bring in Sime, and Wrecker's all panicky, and it turns out it's not a baby. Instead, get some wings. And what's the tradition? Well, she gives you the wings. So now I have wings. Now, the nice thing about the wings, and I was going to look up his name, but I can't remember. I didn't remember, and unfortunately, but there's a guy on GameFAQs who discovered this. If you check out the GameFAQs cheats tips section, he discovered this, but essentially, whenever you're flying, you can't get encounters, because if you got an encounter over a hole, which you can fly over holes, if you got an encounter over a hole, that would be all kinds of messed up for the game to deal with. So instead, it just doesn't give you any encounters at all. So now, for the last bit of the game here, you just use the girl wings here to fly everywhere. And it's much faster than taking encounters, since, you know, you can get encounters with 99 enemies that have to be defeated. And so we'll just be making our way through the rest of the game, basically flying everywhere.
Sounds to me like you're telling the encounters to buzz off.
That's one way to look at it. This also changes our menu, which is somewhat significant. So menu routing, like what is equipped at the current time, it's not super important most of the time, but we will want to be switching between the boots and the gun and the wings most often, so it does switch up your menu a bit. And that's a good way to save quite a bit of time, is effectively switching between your weapons. You can see in the little green square at the top there. Alright, so we head back to the Sand Planet, where they were analyzing the virus and the bones and figuring out what the heck was going on. But it turns out there's no one on the space station because they all left. What the heck? And they took the virus sample that we had there, and we're wondering, well, what the heck? What's going on? You know, where'd they all go? But they took the virus sample because I guess they discovered what it was, like what it was for. And then they didn't tell us. But also our human friend is also gone. Well, that's not good. So we want to find her, and we also want to... where am I going? Yes, right. We also want to find any other planets where the seismic readings are the same as the other ones. Because we also discovered that there are a total of, I believe it's 6 planets that have the same seismic readings, but we only know about, I think, 4 of them at this point. And so, now, in order to make effective use of cartridge space, I suppose, we revisit 3 of the planets we've already been to in order to find some probes that the human government sent out. And these probes were to find where are all of the planets that had the seismic readings. And we also discover that the human government knew about the seismic readings before we did, and they didn't tell us about it. So, a lot of hidden betrayals and things going on here. Sorry about this, but I got a cough here. Throat's getting a little dry. Should probably hydrate. Oh yeah, also, when you screen transition while you're flying, it refills your flying meter, so that's useful. Nice little way to save time. And the flying meter refills to full instantly when you're on the ground, which is why it's pretty useful. It allows you to move around pretty quick. Otherwise, you would have to deal with waiting for it to refill, which obviously wouldn't be very ideal. So, nicely enough, it does refill instantly, so it's quite effective. But yeah, we'll just be going through some more locations that we weren't able to reach before. I'm just saving just because. It's a good idea now that we're still so underleveled. Unlikely I'm gonna die, but you know, don't really want to take that chance. And also, it refills my health to use the data plug there that saves the game, so it's always a good idea. So yeah, mostly the rest of this game will just be movement, because we skip all of the rest of the encounters with the girl wings. And that is what they're called, by the way, the girl wings. I believe the description is you got the girl wings, wings like a girl. Very cheeky with their item descriptions in this game. But yeah, we'll mostly just be moving around like this and skipping encounters. So because we skip all of the encounters from this point on, you know, pretty much all the random encounters, if I get extremely unlucky and take one step, it's possible for me to get an encounter just randomly, but usually that's not a problem. And but if I do, right, enemies can be quite tough for me. So I'm now severely underleveled. The forced encounters that I do take, which there aren't that many left, but the forced encounters that I do take, enemies will be quite powerful. Especially like the bosses will do a lot of damage to me because, you know, I should be something like 20 levels higher. So that's pretty dangerous. It's not super awful, but especially with this next coming boss, I want to be very careful not to take damage. And yeah, unfortunately the Girl Wings movement speed is about the same as your walking speed, so it's not super fast to get around visually anyway. It ends up being faster overall because of the encounters, but it's a little bit slow visually. And it also means that enemies find it very easy to bump into you. Am I going the right way? This is not the right way. Uh-oh. The late night shift is starting to get to me.
Well, you're flying around here. I'd like to remind everyone that we are questing for glory, hope and healing, raising money for NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And, we couldn't do this alone without some help. And we want to throw some thanks out there to some people who's helped us, like Kevin at Twitter at KButtsCorner, who has done our artwork, our logos, our promotional banners every year for the last 4 years. If you're looking for someone to do some artwork for you, he's done an amazing job, and I'm sure his commissions will be opening again soon. You can check him out on Twitter at KButtsCorner, KBUTZKORNER. And we also have 2 foreign language restreams going on right now. If in French, you can watch at twitch.tv/Les French Restream, or a Japanese restream at twitch.tv/Japanese_restream.
Oh yes, and shoutouts to the French Restream commentary team, I believe, or guy messaged me about details about this game, so he wanted to be well prepared for the commentary. So, consummate professionals.
Oh yeah, we've been working behind the scenes with both restreams and passing information. Getting the French to win the Final Fantasy 15 bid war. All of this stuff like that. So it's been fun working with them.
Show of international cooperation. I'd clap, but I have a controller in my hands.
You can clap with the controller. Just don't break it.
Oh yeah, so my health is a little risky here. I've been bumping into a lot of things. It's not really all that risky, but it can get pretty low. I also have the one single glitch that has been found for this game that I can show off here on the way back from the probe. Oh, that health is actually really good right now. So yeah, I'll see if I can show that off on the way back from the probe, that is. Now that we have the wings, for a few of these platform sections where you would normally have to wait for the moving platform, you can just fly over them instead, which is quite nice. And yeah, don't fall into that hole, but you can get there just a little bit quicker. And yeah, if I do take steps on the ground, Do keep in mind that it is quite easily possible for me to still get encounters, because they are random. But yeah, and every time I stop flying, you know, and take maybe 1 or 2 steps, it's possible for me to get an encounter. So I want to be careful not to do anything too risky there. And bizarrely, you can actually get encounters on those moving platforms somehow, even though you'd think that you wouldn't be able to do that because it's moving over a pit, but it actually just puts you back right where you were on the platform. So bizarrely, that part works fine for encounters. And I've gone the wrong way. Not very far off course, though. Alright. Get the last probe. Now, because we skip encounters, it's actually faster to go back the same way that we came in, as opposed to taking the other route that would have taken us past the part where we fought the giant worm. But yeah, because we aren't fighting the worm and we have the wings now to skip encounters, it's actually faster to just go back the same way that you came, because there are larger stretches where you have to use the wings and that have a lot of enemies on the other way back, so it's just a little bit faster. I'm pretty sure to go this way. And on the next ladder, I think the next ladder, maybe one ladder after that, I should be able to show you a cool glitch. So, Plate Element, guy called Plate Element, he discovered this glitch. And essentially, if you climb onto a ladder and then climb off of it over and over again, you can actually clip a little bit out of bounds. It's not really that useful, but in one specific case, if you could get it on the first try, theoretically it would be quite fast. I'll try and go for it here. It doesn't waste too much time. But okay, so not this ladder. Whatever ladder has spikes on the top. You can clip through the spikes on the ladder without hitting the switch. So I believe this one. Right, so there's a little platform here where you can stand. Now if I keep going, I should be able to, and I can't. It's been a while since I've done this, but I know you can, if you just keep climbing on and off, eventually you can clip out. Now, I'll just give this a little bit of time, see if I can get it. I think it works a little bit better on the ice planet spikes during the escape sequence. Oh, see? There you go. Right through the spikes. There you go. Yeah, kind of an interesting glitch. Not super useful, but theoretically, if you could get it on like the first try, then you'd save a little bit of time for hitting the switch, but haven't been able to do it.
Seemed like first try to me.
Definitely got it. I suppose you could say it was the first try that was successful. So yeah, first try, definitely, yeah. Alright, so now the crew of this Starbase 2, has been replaced with a bunch of red dudes. And the commander's different, so we're looking for Zelly, but she's not here. So why is she not here? Well, we call Syme, and Syme says they have a detention center on this planet. So we're gonna go look for Zelly in the detention center. Because they locked her up. Much like her entire crew that got killed, they locked Zelly up because maybe she was an information leak. Although in this case, the reason they locked her up I think it was because she knew about the seismic activity on the planets. That's the reason why. Anyway, we're gonna go bust Zelly out because we need her to do us a favor. And she tells us that, well, in order to prevent information from leaking, this is a theme in this game, we have to kill everyone on this station. Every single one. So all of those red guys, whoops, that you would have otherwise seen beforehand, walking around the station, you now have to kill all of them. And this is where effectively switching your weapons becomes really important. Because you want to very quickly switch between the boots and the gun in order to save few frames, as it were. And you just have to go around and kill all of the guys, including the new commander. Now, you didn't get to see Zelly before, like from behind her desk, but it turns out she's got a physique a little bit different than you thought. So, oh, there's one guy left. I know where he is. I must have forgotten to go all the way down here. Extremely heroic, actually. Why not? These guys were all scumbags, I'm sure. The reason why the ladder clip works better on the ice planet is just because of the properties of the hitbox around the stairs. It's a little bit different on the ice planet. So it just works slightly better. Alright, so we just shoot this guy. We have more health than he does, so he dies before we do. Simple logic. And then Zelly comes in, and it turns out she's really tall. And I'm not sure why, but there you go. Turns out the desk was hiding her power. Alright, so the favor we have Zelly do for us is she sets us up with a star base around the planet that we discovered from the probes. So this is another planet, same seismic activity as all the other ones, that we discovered because we found all the probes with the data in it. And so now that we have all that, we need a starbase there, so she can pull some strings and get us the starbase we need on that particular planet. So here we go to collect Syme. And Syme tells us that, hey, I found out where Scarlet is. If you remember Scarlet, our human scientist that we rescued on the ice planet. She found out Scarlet sending an SOS beacon. Actually, I saved here instead of there. So now we gotta go rescue Scarlet in a mission on the Sand Planet. Now, you may have seen I changed up my gun data setup for this particular mission. And I've switched from the rapid fire free aim cannon to this rotating cannon. So the boss of this particular mission is like a bunch of panels in the wall. They only take one hit to kill, but there are quite a few of them. So the larger area that you have to attack with this rotating cannon is better for the boss. overall. However, it's pretty garbage for the actual mission itself, because you go through a lot of tight corridors. So this becomes a little awkward in a few places, but not too bad, and it is quite a bit better for the boss. So we do switch up our weapon here, and I don't have to mash for this weapon either. You can just hold the button. For some reason, they don't let you do that with any of the earlier weapons, but some of the later weapons, you can just hold the button and it will let you go. So, quite nice. Yeah, right. And a mechanic I didn't mention, but you do need, if you've got some kind of weird shot choice where your weapon is not really able to shoot in a straight line, you can always hit R, and it gives you a basic forward shooting laser that's at the same power as your typical attack. And yes, the laser sound is obnoxious. I'd say it's more obnoxious with the other cannon, the free aim cannon, since it actually fires at an even quicker rate. So it should be even worse, but yeah. I'm not listening to game audio right now, but I'm gonna try and remember to not be firing too often, because I do recognize that the laser sound can be a little bit obnoxious. I only have one bomb, unfortunately.
Well, while Casino is going through the corridor here, stairs, just want to remind everyone of some donation incentives. You can still save or kill Syme in this run as we get closer to the end here. Right now, saving is in the leads, $55 to 0. So if you're sick and tired of seeing her, you can feel free to let her know in the rudest way possible. After this, we have Custom Robo, and we did reach the bad ending incentive, so that's taken care of. But we do have a naming incentives and the color of the next second Robo that you get in the game. Right now, the naming incentives are only at $8 and $7, so they're definitely available.
This mission... Okay, so... something that's a little awkward here. Hopefully not significant. I don't have enough EXP to level up, and I'm at the boss. This boss does a lot of damage. I probably die in one hit here. Hopefully I don't die in one hit. You know, hopefully I don't die at all. But, putting it out there, that's definitely possible. If I get hit by a bullet. Any bullet. Yeah, that's the awkward thing about coming in with not a lot of bombs, is that it's quite difficult to kill things with this particular weapon setup. It is better for the boss because you get better coverage, but yeah, it's not so great. Being at low health here. So this boss in particular actually does quite a bit of damage. These bullets, they don't look very impressive, but they do quite a bit of damage, especially since we're quite far under leveled here, so we just want to make sure we don't get hit. And it's not too bad. Obviously the number of enemies also decreases as we move along here, but just want to be a little careful. And I unfortunately cannot avoid, I must shoot lasers here, so... If you are not a fan of the laser sound, well, I apologize, but that's the way it is. Alright, so at the end, we're going to pick up our scientist friends and just get little bit closer to her, and then you'll pick her up faster here. Alright, now I don't have a lot of health, but I can always refill with the data plug, so that's no problem. Anyway, now that we've got her back, we can go to the new planet where Zelly has set up starbase for us, where we get to be the commander of a starbase for once, make our own rules, but we're only going to make a brief stop in that here before going down to the planet's surface. This is a spooky ghost planet, because why not? They've done the desert planet, they've done the ice planet, they've done the fire planet, and they've done the forest planet. So clearly, the next theme is ghost. I mean, why not?
Logical progression.
So this guy comes and says, he comes up to us when we get here and says, "Oh, Commander, we're all ready to take your orders and stuff." So we are definitely the boss on this particular starbase, which is nice. But it doesn't really change much. Anyway, here we are going to discuss, we got to go down to the planet's surface. And here come these 3 triplets. These are actually all Syme's sisters. Anyway, they're going to help us out on this planet in discovering, what's up with this particular planet in terms of the seismic activity. It's the same as the other planets. So, first things first, on this planet, we have to find all 3 of the sisters that we just met there. So we're going to fly around there and pick them all up. There is a second half to this planet, which you don't get to see in this run. You only get to see it in 100%, but there's actually quite a bit of gun data on this planet that you can collect. You just don't get to see it in any percent. This boss, also, the boss of this planet, has a very small hitbox, so although I will be switching back to free aim cannon, I won't be switching my weapon back to the +1 shot, because I need a large hitbox in order to be able to hit this particular boss's hitbox. I have tried fighting the boss with the +1 shot before, and yeah, it's really bad. It's a very, very terrible fight because it's very difficult to hit his tiny hitbox with your very minuscule shot size. So you want to definitely use the larger shot hitbox for this boss. And conveniently, although I'm not sure why, all the spots that you can use the wings are denoted by some kind of grating on the ground. This is a standard feature. It comes with every planet, I'm sure. Yeah, you can see the nice little spooky touches on some of these areas. Those eagle heads that are part of the floor, they blink at you. And there's some small animations here and there, just to really set it up to be a spooky planet. And I'm not entirely sure why they didn't just go with ghosts, and instead they went with the entire tombstone, but hey, you know, whatever works, right?
Ghost is overplayed anyways. Tombstones, now that's the new hotness.
Exactly. It's like a Ghost and more. Alright, now I'll step in here. Refresh my encounter timer. I can take a few steps with this. Should be able to get to the next screen. Alright. And we're actually just coming up on the boss here. On the next screen after this one's right to the boss. So this game actually does go fairly quickly once you get the wings, because no encounters really speeds up your exploration process. If you have to think that encounters take so much time, I feel like this category would be about, I don't know, half an hour longer with just encounters. So that's about how long I would estimate. So, and those are just encounters, so that are doing that. So it's quite significant, the difference that not taking encounters makes. So we equip the free aim cannon again. I'm going to save here. It's not too dangerous, this boss, but, you know, don't want to take any chances. Oh yeah, there's actually a glitch. Not a useful glitch. This is a harmful glitch. On this planet, only this planet, because of a certain enemy type. So you'll see them coming up here. It's like a little gravestone and then a floating green thing. It looks like some kind of vegetable or something. Anyway, you can kill them fine here, but in a random encounter on this planet, if you encounter those, if you kill the tombstone, it counts for 2 enemies that you've killed, because the tombstone automatically kills the little green floating thing as well. So it counts for 2 enemies. But if you are at 1 enemy left to kill and you kill the tombstone, it subtracts 2 from the enemy counter instead of the 1 it's supposed to. And this rolls it over into the negative. And because you're at -1 enemies killed, it'll actually soft lock you on this planet in a random encounter. Here it doesn't matter because you can kill as many enemies as you like. There's no counter. It's just beat the boss. But if you are playing this game casually, that's something to keep in mind. You can avoid this glitch by just being careful with what enemy you kill. Or also just, you can use the duo counter or trio counter or quad counter impact data, and that will also fix the problem. But just something to keep in mind if you're playing this game casually. Not a problem in the speedrun, but something interesting anyway. Some good trivia.
The stage seems easy.
So, wow. So this is the boss. Only his little eye, the very small circle there, and now it's a red circle, but it's quite small. It's kind of difficult to hit if you're using the +1 shot, so this is why we have the wider triple shot for this particular mission, and I'm getting really bad luck with these things. Basically, the way he's attacking me is by sending in rocks from the background, and they do about as much damage as regular terrain hitting you, like if you bump into terrain and explode. It's a little bit dangerous because it does quite a bit of damage, but generally you can avoid it, and I'm getting some real bad positions here. I gotta be a little more careful here, since I would prefer not to die. You know what I mean? Just gotta be careful. He will go down without too much trouble, although the annoying thing about these rocks is that if they spawn in front of you, they do actually block your shot. Fortunately, a little slower going, but we got him. Okay. I was a hit away from death there, so I just didn't want to risk bumping into a rock and dying. Alright, so the ghost will come and he'll say, "Hey, why are you beating up my ghost friends?" Anyway, we have a discussion. He basically tells us, yeah, so all those seismic activity things that you found on all the planets, yeah, we basically put a huge alien egg inside of all of those planets, and they're gonna hatch and kill everything on all of those planets that had the seismic readings. Enjoy. And actually, I'm not gonna say it.
It's all right. You got 3 minutes to get out of there.
And yeah, and then he basically says, okay, and then, but you know what? We like you, so we're gonna give you this extra item. They give you some item that lets you go under grates. Not important, really, but does make menuing a little more awkward. And then you get information that the planet is going to have a massive earthquake and kill everything in the immediate area. So yeah, you got to get off the planet as fast as possible. And 3 minutes is a pretty decent amount of time. Not really anything to worry about. Although it's far more easy if you aren't using the wings to get out, because obviously encounters don't count towards your timer on the 3 minute timer that you get to escape. But with the wings, you skip the encounters, which is overall faster, but the counter actually counts down quite a bit. You still have more than enough time to escape, but it looks a little bit tighter than the last time anyway. And yes, the flying does look, visually, it looks quite slow. But overall, it ends up being faster simply because you do not take encounters when you're flying. And encounters can waste ridiculous amounts of time. So you would like to be able to run, but you would then take encounters, and yeah, it's not so great. Yeah, but we got enough time to escape here. It's not too bad. You generally get here with around 30 seconds left, or more even, like back to the ship with about 30 to or more seconds left, so not too bad. New Game Plus runs around everywhere because it has the quad counter impact data, which it uses to great effect to speed through encounters. But unfortunately, we do not have the same benefit here. So we're gonna go back to the command room. And what's this? Balloon has betrayed us. He's betrayed us and he stole our virus data. So now we gotta go chase Balloon, try and get the virus data back.
This game is too dramatic for me.
Well, they do like their drama, certainly.
Too many plot twists and whatnot for a GBA game.
It's got quite an involved plot. I think it's quite interesting. They tried to do a lot with this game and its story, and I appreciate that they went so far with it. It's more than I would expect out of a GBA game, which is part of the reason why I routed it in the first place, is because I enjoy the story so much.
I mean, GBA games are always the big console. I think that's hit or miss. Like, there's some really good stuff in it, but man, there's a lot of trash in the console too.
Exactly.
Anything that has a license to it, like a movie license or whatever, you can totally expect that to be some of the worst games ever made.
While that is true, there are some games on the GBA that are licensed that are quite good. In particular, I like the Atlantis game, actually. I believe it's a very good platformer, but most of the licensed games are bottom of the barrel garbage, and they're actually, I think, a large contributing factor in why your typical thing you expect from a licensed game is that it's bad, unfortunately. Now, we were chasing Bloon, and we got to fight him now. This is actually one of the easiest fights in the game. We'll beat him in 3 seconds. Whoops. Oh, maybe less than, or more than 3 seconds. Alright, excuse me, it took me 4 seconds because I forgot to switch my weapon, but... yeah, very easy. Just quickly defeat Bloon. But we were too late. He already uploaded the virus to the human government. Except it wasn't the human government, it was just Tyranny. So we split off from when we went rogue. But he uploaded it to Tyranny. Tyranny's now like, okay, I have the virus, you should surrender to me. And then we gotta go to Earth. And we gotta kill everyone. Just like the star base before it. We gotta go to Earth and we gotta kill everyone. In order to recover our virus sample.
Just stand there in one knee and shoot a couple times and then... dang, I missed him.
Well, that's how it goes. They didn't train these guys very well. What can I say? They must be under budget.
I used all 3 bullets that I had. I'm in trouble.
After all, they only sent one guy to on this secret mission. You know, they didn't try more than once. So doesn't speak well to their financial situation. But yeah, we got to recover our virus. We also discovered, I think, forgot to mention this, but it is actually rather important. We discovered that the virus destroys those alien eggs. So, and one of the alien eggs is actually inside of the Krill home planet. Now, you know, I'm not the hugest fan of the Krill, but, you know, we don't want all of them to die and their home planet to get eviscerated, so we want this virus sample so that we can control those alien eggs that are gonna destroy the planet. But then this guy, Tierney, blows it all up. He blows up the virus, he blows up Zart, which was the guy who was analyzing the virus before and disappeared. But then Syme's sisters come in and use their psychic powers to blow up Tierney. Because everything's blown up. And now we find out that... so yeah, Tierney betrayed us. Everyone betrayed us. Syme also, during that call with Bloon, if you were reading the text, which I understand if you weren't reading the text, but if you were reading the text during that chase with Bloon, Bloon revealed that we were leader of Sigma team. And if you remember from back on the ice planet, we said that we would help Syme kill the leader of Sigma team because he shot her down and got her demoted. But now she finds out that you're the leader of Sigma team. Uh-oh. So that's not so good.
Quick, kill her before she kills you. Donate to kill her.
And so now she's our enemy again. She's gone back to the Krill planet. And yeah. So that's not so good. Now we either have the option to save or kill sign coming up. So, you know, donate to what you like if you want to get something in there. But yeah, we find that she's gone and she went back to the Krill planet because she found out that we lied to her. Oops. So now we're gonna go chase after her and fly to the Krill planet. And as is standard fashion, we're gonna go to the Krill starbase and we're gonna kill everyone on it. As you do.
Man, they just keep reusing the same story over and over again. Why can't you ever let them live?
Well, I mean, you know, it ties up all the loose ends, really. Alright, so these guys, much like the ones beforehand, are a bit hardier than humans. So they take, because they have the parasites, they take 5 shots instead of 3 shots to destroy, except the guys who throw the grenades, which for some reason also take 3 shots. I don't know why. But anyway, same game plan as the humans. Just go up to them and blast them. They have about the same IQ as the guys at the human base, so they're just gonna shoot a few shots and then die. Rip. But what are you gonna do? You know, sometimes that's just how you got trained. I mean, no wonder the Krill were winning the war. They take 5 hits to destroy. Am I right? But yeah, you just have to clear all these guys out, and you do actually have to kill all of them because the door at the end does not unlock unless, you know, you've killed them all. So you have to clean them all out. Oh, we're almost there. Up this staircase, and then there's a couple guys. Oh yeah, that's what the item you get from the ghost does. It turns you into a bit of goo. You can use it to get under grates, but I accidentally used it there. It's not really useful in the run. You can use it to dodge attacks, I guess, but yeah, not particularly useful. Alright, this is the last guy. I tried to dodge, but didn't. Really. Alright, and then we fly across here to meet Syme, who's at the commander's room of this base. And she complains that we lied to her. And we're like, yeah, but baby, come back. She teleports down to the planet and we chase after her. Because, you know, we're supposed to be in love with her and all that stuff. You know how it is. Unfortunately, she's not really listening to us so much right now, but she maybe will come around. I don't know. Now's your last chance to get that save or kill Syme bid in, because once I get to the end of this planet, that'll be it. Alright, so this is the last planet. I need to get my index card here. There's one thing I need notes for. The only thing I actually need notes for on this game, which is the directions in this final area here. Okay, so going east. So this area is a maze. You go in the wrong door here, you'll just come out in the wrong area. And there's a lot of doors. But basically, you're just going around in and out of doors, trying to get to the end here. Not too hard, but yeah, you know. And there's some enemies here. I don't believe I ever said their name, but these big bulky guys, they're just over here. They're called Hanks. H-E-N-K, I believe. Anyway, for some reason, there's just a whole bunch of Hanks at the end of I think every screen here. But those are really the only enemies you gotta worry about. Otherwise, it's just going indoors, so if there are any more donations, now is probably a good time for very end here.
We don't got any donations. We just gotta remind people, if you want to save or potentially kill Syme, we're already saving her, but if you want to kill her for trying to kill you, get them donations in. It's all for a good cause. It's all going for NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And that's why we're here, to raise money and awareness for the charity. And your donations have helped greatly so far. We've done wonderful with the whole weekend to go still. But our next goal now is looming, looking at that 20,000 as we're inching there closer.
Oh, just a few more screens of doors here. So I will be getting one single more upgrade for my base shooting weapon. It's the last upgrade you can actually get, and it's the last gun data in the game that you can collect, actually. And that will be right before the end, and that'll be also right where I cut off the donation incentive, although I think we know which one is winning that one so far, but still have a little bit of time left. And I believe, well, perhaps you could give some more details actually on NAMI. This guy is asking, is there an MSF for mental illness stuff?
Well, we could talk a little bit about NAMI. They are the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization, who they do their focus, most of their work around the three pillars, they like to call it: education, support, awareness, and advocacy. With working with all of the states here in the U.S., over 650 affiliates. They have a helpline, a national helpline that you can call, that's available Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day. It's 1-800-950-NAMI. You can call there for support or information. They have online at nami.org that you can go talk to if you want to have someone to reach out to. They even have a text. I believe it's text NAMI to 741-741, I believe, if you are in an emergency and you need someone to talk to immediately.
Well, there you go. So I'm not actually sure exactly what MSF does either, but
I believe that's Doctors Without Borders.
Oh, I see.
I believe.
So NAMI is more of a...
That's a different charity. That's
kind of
helping with doctors around the world. This one is helping people with mental health crisis issues, information, you know.
All right, so this is the end of the bid war. I mean, right.
Okay, close the bid war then.
So, save. I assume?
Let me double check. Yeah, we're still saving.
Alright. So here, Syme is right next to the Overlord. And the Overlord is like, you should kill this guy. And, you know, she's pretty pissed off at you. So, she says yes. Now, you can kill her by killing the eyes. Or, you can save her by killing only the weapons. I'm going to be killing just the weapons here. Which is slightly slower than killing the eyes, but doesn't really lose that much time. And right after this, you go directly into the final boss fight. Well, you can call it a boss fight. It's a stage before the boss, but the last forced encounter. Now, we are still quite under-leveled. Some of the enemies in the last fights can be quite dangerous. Not too much to worry about until we get to the final boss. Right, so his big plan, turns out the Overlord knew the whole time about everything, all these big eggs, and they're hatching out of the planets, and all of them kind of merge together into one super omega huge space monster. And then the Overlord's big plan was he's going to merge with this monster and take over the universe or something like that. So that's not good. We gotta stop him. Scarlet comes to us and says, "Hey, turns out I had the virus the whole time." So I guess that solves that problem, sort of. But we have to find the right point to inject the virus. To do that, we're going to fly directly into the guy. Like, if you've ever played Life Force, I think you have a similar sort of thing going on there. But, yeah. Now we're going to fly right inside the big space monster and kill it from the inside out. So because it kind of hatched from like all the eggs hatched from all of the planets, the idea here is that in these stages you're going to see enemies from all over the game that you would have seen beforehand. This guy's, for example, is from the ice planet. It's a mini-boss from the ice planet. It's not too bad to fight. Something you can do with the mini-bosses, though, is that if you decide you don't feel like fighting them, you don't have to fight them. You can just wait, and it'll take the same amount of time, I'm pretty sure, if you don't fight them, to progress to the next area. So there are blue swirls in the background. So you basically just have to wait for the blue swirls to come up and then fly into them. So this guy's pretty easy to defeat, so no problems there.
No, my weakness. Waiting for me.
Yeah, you can just skip them, which is good, because some of those mini-bosses can be quite bad. Yeah, you're basically just waiting for the blue swirls to proceed to the next area. You can actually skip ahead of a few things in some places if you fly into the blue swirl early to save a little bit of time. But after this very fast section, and I believe one more slow section, should be right at the final boss. Getting close. If I can remind whoever's manning the timer, the end of time on this game is not when the final boss dies, but right afterwards your ship will be flying through space and it'll fade to black. When it fades to black, that is when time is for this game. So here's the final boss. If you touch his face, you instantly die, so don't do that. There are some tentacles that come out of the background in those holes, and those will pull your ship in and then crush it, and you take, I think, damage like you collided with terrain. He also spawns 3 tentacles out of the floor and ceiling, those ones that can do quite a bit of damage. It's the same as terrain damage. He shoots the laser, and he spits rocks, which can do quite a bit. However, we can trivialize this encounter because, as it turns out, when he moves back a little bit, there is a safe spot right near his forehead where you can just sit and hit him right in the face, and that's it. That's all you need to do. A few cycles of this and you can get him pretty easily. But you do have to make sure you don't touch his forehead, because if you do touch his forehead, you instantly die. This is considered the weakest point inside of the super space monster, but it can still kill you, so you gotta make sure you don't explode, you know. Coming up here, almost there. I think maybe 1 or 2 more cycles. And yes, the +10, which is shot, which I did equip, that was the last gun data I equipped, is a massive damage increase, because it's essentially like I'd leveled up 10 times right there. I forgot to mention that, sorry, but got lost right there at the end of the planet there. But yes, I did equip a +10 shot. It's the last gun data you can get in the game. Very, very good. Gives you +10 damage, as if you're 10 levels higher. So that's helping a lot with the final boss here. You can also heal his health if you don't keep constantly shooting him, so it's good that we have a constant fire rate. And there he is, he's dead. Alright, we got there. But tragically, we find out that our human scientist friend actually injected the virus into her own body, and so she has to jump into the mouth of the beast to kill it. Unfortunately, she dies here. RIP. You can save her in the New Game Plus ending, but not on New Game. Alright, so time is coming up. Coming up here right when it fades to black here. And time. That's it. It's over. Alright. So, yeah. Because he only blasted the guns, Syme gets to survive. Unfortunately, yeah, I didn't get to save the other one there, but the other friend of yours there, but you know, New Game Plus.
Wanting competition for Syme, that's why.
Wow. That's one way to look at it. Yeah, he destroyed the whole Krill home planet. Remember, there was one of those eggs in the Krill home planet, so now all of the Krill have no home. So I guess they all moved to Earth or something. I think I have large. A lot of people died when the krill attacked the first time, so I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's some room on the planet or something. I don't know. But yeah, here they kind of explained Scarlet injected herself with the virus before because there wasn't another virus sample. And I believe, oh, I forgot I could speed up text here. I believe they Wrecker just keeps saying, "Man, I wish we could have done something else. I mean, I'm sure we could have done something else, but I'm sure of it. And yeah, just wish there was something I could have done different." New Game Plus. Turns out in New Game Plus you can get an extra virus sample, no problems. Save everyone, no problem. Easy money. But this time we just saved time, and that's the end of any percent. So thank you everyone who stuck around for this run. And thank you all for supporting NAMI, a great cause. That is the end of this game. And yeah, shout outs to the French and Japanese restream for bringing RPG Limit Break Questing for Glory to a larger audience. And yeah, that's probably going to be about it for me. Next run is Custom Robo. So look forward to that. Coming up here shortly. I believe the naming incentive maybe has a few minutes if you want to get a quick donation in for the names for Custom Robo. And yeah, thanks for watching my run. I appreciate it. So yeah. You can cut me off whenever you like here. It's just the credits.
Sorry, I was just answering something real quick for someone. But thank you very much, CasinoCoin. Very, very much. Got to show off some Sigma Star Saga here. It was a good run. And yeah, we're still setting up for the next run. Going to need a few minutes before that's ready. Before we get there, though, I'm going to throw out a quick donation that we got. We got a $10 donation. Speaking of the restream viewer, from Le French Restream, says, "Bonjour. This donation is to start a new bid to rename Frog LF Frog. I guess, La French Restream for Frog. During Chrono Trigger. Keep up the good work." I don't know how to say this one. La Bise, Le French Restream. So thank you very much, French Restream, one of our two Restream partners, along with the Japanese _Restream. But yeah, so we are going to head off to an intermission screen here shortly, and we will be back in a few minutes with a custom robo race between Ghost Kumo and Shawnee 7188.